Sullivan.
And I welcome this debate today. I agree with what's been said already about the importance of having a public debate all around this issue in advance of plebiscites in May. And there is very little knowledge even that there are going to be plebiscites in the areas concerned. And I think if we look across the water, or indeed north of the border at Brexit, we can see the damage that can be done where a major change is proposed and where the public do not know what it's about. The British public, I think, have learnt a lot about what Brexit actually is since they decided that they were going to do it. But they really should have been having that conversation before they voted and have the wide kind of information that I think they didn't have. So I think that's really an example of, putting something out there to the public without having that broad conversation is dangerous. Having said that, I do think we should have the plebiscites, but we do need the conversation, and I think the Minister needs to find a way in which to have that public debate in the areas concerned, as well as here in the Dáil Chamber and in the committee and so on. So I think you do need to find a way, whether that be kind of town hall style meetings or whatever it is, there has to be that general debate so that people understand what it's about. And I also support what's just been said, and I said it indeed in the debate before Christmas as well, that we don't know what the functions are going to be. And I know you said today, Minister, and quoting from you, the requirement that I would revert to government with more detailed proposals on the plebiscites, the question to be put and the specific powers to be given to mayors. And that's all very well to be reverting to government, but can you revert to government soon so that we can have enough time to have this conversation? Because if we only get the information out as to what the functions and powers are close to the voting itself, then there won't be time for a public debate. And this is a big decision for local people. And if you end up getting a celebrity-style mayor because you haven't had a proper debate about what mayors actually do, then then we will get the wrong kind of person. We need somebody who can actually take the responsibility, because it's not just about powers, it's about responsibility. And traditionally, because local government has been so weak, there hasn't been the habit of local public representatives having to take serious decisions and take the consequences for their actions. I do support the fact that you have said that councillors will continue to have their reserved functions, and to an extent, in decisions around budgets and those kinds of functions, councillors do take responsibilities. But if you're given specific powers, then you have to take the responsibility that goes with the power. And sometimes then it will have to be, well, we would like to do all these things and we'd vote for them all, but we only have a limited budget, so we can only do certain things. So I think there needs to be that clear understanding. And I suppose what experience I have on this issue would have been largely in France, because we have, I was chair of a twinning committee at one stage and would have visited the city concerned, which is Quimper in Brittany, and would have had discussions with deputy mayors and deputy mayors. And in their system, their municipalities are the town or city plus the rural hinterland around it, the natural hinterland around it. And they make decisions, like the deputy mayors are in charge of things like transport, and they're in charge of the budget. And so they have to say, well, we can do this road, but we can't do that road, or we can do this, but we can't do that. And they're the kind of responsible decisions that we haven't been used to in local government. So, we really need to prepare our public representatives as well as prepare our public for real responsibility, not just voting against something because it's in your area when your colleagues are going to vote for it in some other area and it's going to go through. We actually have to ensure that there is real responsibility taken at local level. And I know there are a number of different models. There's actually, I was looking, but I haven't fully had time to read it. The IPA had an article in their winter 2017 edition of this about the different kinds of models of directly elected mayors, and I think we need to look at what model will we actually come down to. And I'd be inclined to agree with Deputy O'Brien that very specific a small number of specific functions, I think would be more appropriate in the beginning, because that will mean that the public will have a better chance of understanding what they're actually voting for, and also that the public representatives and the directly elected mayor will understand what their responsibilities are going to be. And some of the decisions that they might have to make mightn't be all that popular, so they need to recognise that as well. So I think there is a real learning curve that's needed, and there isn't an awful lot of time for it. I just want to say, Galway, I presume now, is excluded because they won't be ready in time, and in a way it's a pity that the people of Galway won't have the opportunities, and indeed that the people of Dublin won't either, for what the rest of us are going to have the opportunity to vote on. With regard to Limerick, I think mayors should be municipally based. I mean, I do think that there is an issue around the fact that we are a city and county, as is Waterford, because, and Deputy Quinlan will know this well, we've had mayors in the current system, we've had mayors from far out in the county part of Limerick who are the mayor of Limerick City and County, and we also have a municipal mayor, and there is a lot of confusion around these two roles. And if the directly elected mayor, and I'm not sure how it would pan out, but if the directly elected mayor comes from a rural part of the county, then I do think that presents an issue, because mayors of other places, or the mayor of New York, the mayor of London, the mayor of Vancouver, whoever, you know, they represent cities, and there's an international understanding that a mayor, a directly elected mayor in particular, is a city-based politician. And if we end up with the directly elected mayor of Limerick City and County or Waterford City and County being somebody from the rural part of the electoral area, then I think that will pose a problem in terms of how that directly elected mayor represents the municipality. And I don't know what you can do about that, but I just wanted to say that I do think that it is something that needs to be considered. So, I mean, I support the principle. I hope it works out well, but I think it has a much better chance of being successful if there's clarity well in advance about the functions, the powers, the responsibilities and the budgets, and the relationship with the executive of that council, and the relationship with the people, and the relationship with governments. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that the public just haven't thought about or haven't even been aware of in terms of how this might work, because we've always had the system of local government that we currently have, which isn't about directly elected mayors with powers and functions. And I'm not sure, like, I presume the intention is that the directly elected mayor would sort of be like a government minister, and its chief executive would be kind of like the director general of a government department, and the staff would work under both of them, I presume, in some way. So again, there are things to be clarified in that regard. So I would certainly call for as much public dialogue as possible, and I suppose there's a responsibility on the rest of us as well as on yourself, Minister, but it's primarily on yourself to ensure that is possible, to ensure that the information is decided and got out there as quickly as possible, so that, as I say, the plebiscites first of all, and then the election of the mayor, him or herself, is conducted in a way that there is public understanding of what they're voting for. You know, they're not voting for a champion sports person or whatever. They're voting for somebody who's going to take responsibility for the running of their area, and that there also needs to be a sense that this is about subsidiarity, this is about conversations locally, this is about engaging with, you know, the community organisations, the businesses, everything that goes on in the local area. It's not just one person sitting in their office kind of making decisions for everybody, that it has to be collaborative, and there has to be engagement right across the area. So, you know, broadly supportive, Minister, but please let us get out there and talk to the public about what's being proposed.